Now, according to the Electoral Commission, Jeremy Corbyn has been registered as the official leader of your party, along with Adnan Hussein as nominating officer. As you can see, your party was registered on the 30th of September. Then at the bottom, Jeremy registered as leader, Adnan nominating officer, and Dr. Marion Roberts as treasurer. Now, some have taken to Twitter to show their concern. Max Shanley said this. According to the Electoral Commission, Jeremy Corbyn is officially leader of your party. No nominations, no votes, nothing. The ascension of King Corbyn has begun. The founding conference of your party is shaping up to be nothing more than a coronation. He then said, and before anyone else says the Electoral Commission requires a statutory leader, the party won't fully exist till at least November. There was no need to register yet beyond securing the name, a name that will likely not be the one finally adopted. Nicola James responded and she said, registration isn't just securing the name, it's a long legal process, constitution, financial scheme, 3 officers, compliance checks. That takes weeks to months. If left until November, the party wouldn't have been ready to contest elections under its name and logo. Now they will be able to update the EC straight after conference with the leadership and name members choose. Updating is far quicker than the initial registration. Max Shanley came back and said this. The party doesn't have a constitution yet, though. That's a matter for the founding conference, and the party's name is going to be subject to an all-member vote before the conference. If it has a constitution already, who wrote it, who voted for it, why hasn't it been published? And why did they have the power to do so without mass participation in a supposedly democratic organisation? Now, according to the Electoral Commission, it is true that in order to register a party, there must be a leader, treasurer, and nominating officer. I mean, I guess my question is, why those individuals? Now, I kind of get why Jeremy will be registered as leader for now. But for Adnan, I mean, would it not make sense to have Zara registered there? And look, I suppose if I'm being kind, there's obviously still tension between the two. And maybe it was just simply easier to register these people to get on with the Electoral Commission application. Now, according to Corbyn, he stated that the MPs are only there to facilitate the party to conference and the democratic procedure will take place. Sarah, do you think this is something to be concerned about, or do you think that we should just hold our judgment until after conference?
Yeah, good question. I do think registering Corbyn. Oh my God, can I not talk? It's Friday. Registering Corbyn as leader on the Electoral Commission forms without a vote does raise a few eyebrows. Because it kind of makes it look like a coronation. But I think the difference is there are legal hoops to jump through. Like, you can't register a party without a named leader. Fine. So they put Corbyn's name down as the obvious figurehead. That on paper is just a technicality, but I think, and this is crucial, like, optics matter. And if your entire project is about building a grassroots member-led like alternative or initiative, then even the appearance of like backroom deals and like coronations undermines that trust that you're trying to build with something that is democratically led. People on the left are traumatized from Labour's, internal stitch-ups and the bureaucratic betrayals. They are hypersensitive to anything that smells like top-down control, and rightly so. So I think the question is like, will they actually prove that this was a procedural step, or will they turn it into some like fait accompli? And I think if the conference in November is genuinely democratic, then it would be, one member, one vote, open contest for leadership and constitution. Then this moment kind of would become a bit of a footnote. But if it turns out that the constitution was quietly stitched together by a handful of insiders, and if members don't actually get the final say, then I think this whole project just collapses on its face before it even begins. And we can even talk about like Adnan Hussein, like his appointment over Zara Sultana as nominating officer is not just weird optics, but I think it kind of reeks of internal power play, in my opinion. I think Zara was the spark that lit that fire that got your party going, and her omission from the official paperwork is pretty glaring. And I think if this is actually about unity, then why is one of the most popular young MPs in the country being sidelined? And I don't know. You can criticize me on this, but I do feel like it's factional maneuvering. I'm kind of side eyeing your party now. So my answer to that question would be like this could go either way. If the founding conference is transparent and democratic and genuinely empowers members, then registering Jeremy was probably just like an admin job. But if it isn't, and if it's stitched up, then the left will have built a house on like literal sand, and people won't join a new party just to relive the worst of Labour's culture. Like I do think this will be make or break. I think if your party keeps repeating this arrogance and the secrecy of the Labour machine, I think it will die. And I'm relating it to Labour because I want them to be distinctive from Labour, but I don't feel like they are being that distinctive from Labour at this point. I think if it keeps its promise of member-led democracy, then it has a chance. But right now, I think I'm just cautiously watching. But the leadership kind of needs to know that we're not going to accept coronations, not after everything we've been through.
I mean, I can forgive, as I said before, I can kind of forgive when it's Jeremy Corbyn in the registered as leader because, of course, as we know, Jeremy Corbyn, Zara Sultana are supposedly the co-leaders for now, right? I kind of get that. But my question is, why is Adnan there? I mean, obviously, them two are very close. They've done a lot of rallies together. But like, you can't help but wonder if this is another like factual maneuvering. I mean, look, this is what we do know. There are factions, okay? We know that Zara and Jeremy are on two different factions. That is just true. Okay, that's not really speculation. I think we all know that. We all know that either side is trying to play a factional game, and this could be another one. Now, maybe the plan from the start was to register this party, have Jeremy and Adnan just there, but literally only for temporary reasons, right? And then facilitate the conference. But then surely that the party would have been registered ages ago. Why now? So I do think that's a little bit strange. But I mean, for me, I'm still kind of reserving my judgment until conference because at the end of the day, that's where the democratic structures are supposed to be or supposed to be formed. And if there's no democratic structures after the conference, then I'm going to not hold back, should I say. My next question for you, though, is, we've heard no word of the amount of members your party has had after Jeremy Corbyn announced his second membership portal. Now, when Zara initially did hers, she revealed 20,000 paid members in a matter of hours, which is extremely impressive, by the way. But this time, it's been weeks, and we've heard nothing. So, look, do you think this is due to the two portals being merged, and maybe it's a case of technical issues behind the scenes? Or do you think the number of people who signed up under Jeremy Corbyn is lower than expected, and they're maybe a little bit embarrassed?
It's a good question. I think if membership had exploded under Corbyn's launch, then we probably would have heard about it. They always want to smear Corbyn, right? They won't hold back when it comes to that. I think silence just usually means that the numbers aren't as impressive as expected. And that matters because momentum is everything in a new party. And yeah, there have been technical issues like merging these databases and refunding and reprocessing thousands of memberships from Zara's launch and avoiding like these duplicates. But that takes time. But I think the bigger problem is actually political. Like the leadership has kind of fumbled the bag. Zara's launch showed raw momentum. That's what I think. Like when you say those numbers, 20,000 people like throwing down 55 quid in a matter of hours, that's not just impressive, that's like unprecedented for a startup party that doesn't have very many things going for it at the moment. But then Jeremy's camp told them to cancel, the momentum was squandered, and then when the official portal opens, people are kind of just confused, and obviously some were rightfully frustrated, and then the energy just wasn't the same. I think even if the combined membership today is 25 to 30,000 people, that's still huge by British standards. But perception is everything. Like the first wave felt like a really immense movement, and then the second wave feels like damage control. And I do think that's a failure politically. And people don't join new parties because of admin. Like they join because of fire. They join because they want a change and because they believe it's different and it's urgent and it's unstoppable. But right now, I don't feel like your party has proven that. I think it's still wrapped up in these internal tensions, and it's struggling to get away from that and these half messages, and now this like strategic silence on matters. And I don't think you can inspire or mobilize a country if you can't even inspire your own base to re-register. So yeah, the numbers are probably lower than hoped, and yes, they're probably holding back because they don't want headlines about stalling. But the fix isn't to hide. I think it's to lead. Like give people a constitution that they can shape and give them a really bloody bold platform to do it. give them clarity, because that's something that we haven't had as people in this country, and then watch that membership grow again. Because if it all ends up being this project managed from the top, then those tens of thousands of people just melt away, and they'll think that you're just another party that just wants to score political points for the sake of scoring political points. And I think if it's genuinely grassroots, then those numbers could explode. But time is short, and I think the silence isn't very reassuring.